Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Demon Slayer. Last time on Demon Slayer we had Tsuzumi Mansion. I'm trying to make sure I say that right because, you know, a lot of people don't really get the TSU as Tsu. I think. It's very hard. It's not Suzumi Mansion, it's Tsuzumi Mansion. Alright, it's just a little difficult. Anyway, that's what we had. So, Tanjiro met up with Zenitsu, another demon slayer, who was desperately trying to get married before he died because he's a coward. But we also learned his backstory where it kind of makes sense why he is the way he is. But then the two of them ended up at Tsuzumi Mansion, where some people were taken by a drum demon voiced by Steve Bloom. And they met two kids there who lost their brother, so they're going in to save their brother. And then Tanjiro started to fight the drum demon, but he has control over the house using his drums. And then a dude wearing a boar head and dual wielding two crazy Nichiren swords busted in. So yeah, that's pretty much where we left it. So, yeah, that was pretty much that. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Demon Slayer. Here we go. Alrighty, well, some interesting stuff in this one, definitely. Very, very interesting stuff. A former member of the 12 Kizuki, which is interesting, and then we also have interesting stuff with Zenitsu and the Boar Man. Man, I love hearing passion in that voice again. And I don't want to, go off, because I've been going off way too much about Attack on Titan and everything. But, and when I say this, I say this with, a full disclaimer in Attack on Titan. I think Bryce Papenbrook is amazing. I think his Eren Yeager is very good. And I think in Season 4 especially, he friggin' kills it. So, nothing against any of the voices, in either version, too, because I've watched some of the sub for the OVAs. But just the last couple times I've heard his voice, you know, it's always been sort of down here. So the fact that he's just letting loose, just with this crazy jacked boar dude, just the laugh is hilarious, you know? And it's not quite, you know, the last time I really heard some energy, I feel like, with him was, Caesar Zeppeli. Caesar Zeppeli is still a very different character from Boarman, who we still haven't gotten a name for him. Hopefully we will soon. I know we looked it up last episode, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember it. So yeah. So for now, I'm just going to call him Boarman. Boarman Frank. So yeah, but just hearing his voice and hearing that laugh every so often, it's I friggin' love it. I love the man's voice. So that's just nice, you know? That's just nice. So yeah, so the Boarman Frank, he's self-taught, which is interesting. So I'm assuming that does, completely mean he's not trained by anyone. Which, you know, kind of begs the question, how young is he, you know? When he saw, or did he? I don't remember. I want to say when he saw Tanjiro and Teruko, he called both of them kids. So we don't really know how old he is. He's jacked, but that's just because we can see he's jacked, you know? Tanjiro and Zenitsu have all these, layers on. I imagine they're both, fairly muscular, you know? So, I don't know. We don't really know how old this guy is. I would imagine, though, he's around Tanjiro's age, you know? Maybe, if I were to wager a guess, a couple years older, basically. So, yeah. but if he's self-taught, it makes me curious. Like, I mean, I guess it kind of makes me curious of like, I don't want to say like the bureaucracy of the Demon Slayers, because that sounds like the most boring Doctor Who episode. The bureaucracy of the Demon Slayers, or something like that. The bureaucracy of the Daleks. But yeah, it's like, because it makes you wonder. It's like, well, I wonder if this guy went through final selection. I would imagine he had to have, if he is a Demon Slayer, but he's not wearing the Demon Slayer uniform. He could just be a really eccentric guy who's, self-taught and really good at what he does, So it could be. But yeah, but he's got the beast form. I love his swords too, and it's such an interesting thing. It feels like the kind of thing, though, where I would go onto YouTube and there would be some sword channel that's like, oh, actually, these blades, with all the ribbings, basically, that's not actually, a good thing for a katana, because blah, 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 and it's like, and all of this, it would end up breaking. But this is an anime, this is a cartoon, it doesn't matter, so, like, it feels like something like that, but I don't know, maybe it's a real thing. I would love for it to be a real thing, because it's freaking badass, but yeah, there's no holding back on that, There's absolutely no holding back. Now, it's kind of curious because Tanjiro has not had problems really cutting through, and it's not like their blades are weak. So the thing that I'm thinking is, the way his blade is specifically, I wonder if that, because he's self-taught, I'm almost wondering if that's like a way of compensating, maybe, like, because he didn't have formal training, that sort of levels him out in terms of power with other people. That's purely speculation, Your Honor. I don't think we'd have to strike this from the record, but yeah, it's like, that's just kind of like where my thought process goes. I could be completely wrong. I'm entirely open to being wrong about that, but yeah. But still, very, very interesting stuff with him. We got Zenitsu, who we finally figured out his deal, that when he falls asleep, then he gets really good. But otherwise, when he's awake, when he knows what he's doing, then no, that's not happening. But yeah, while he's asleep, he can fight, which is an interesting thing. He can sleep fight. And yeah, he's got the thunder form, which is interesting. And yeah, it's one of those things, I think I've mentioned this before, that I like that Tanjiro uses water, And I think that's an interesting thing. It kind of reminds me a bit of One Punch Man with, what the hell was his name? Silver Fang, I think, or Bang, whichever. It kind of depends on what they felt like calling him that day. But he always had the flowing water technique, which eventually we see in season 2 is also the form of Garo. But yeah, so he kind of has that flowing water, and I really like that, because it makes sense, It's that plus water bending. It's like just the flow of water can actually be really good for a fight like that. You move, you sort of weave in and out, you can adapt very well, And I like that Tanjiro uses that at the end, or he's going to use that at the next episode, because he now needs to adapt to this unpredictable enemy, while he also has injuries. Like, if he didn't have his injuries, you kind of wonder, like, well, would he have defeated this demon much quicker? I would almost argue probably yes, but yeah, it's his broken bones, and as he said, his broken spirit that's kind of holding him back. But he remembers his teaching. He remembers the flow of the water, So I kind of like that. And also, I guess, just another thing, another fighting thing with water. I guess it kind of reminds me a bit of which Kung Fu Panda movie is it? Is it the second one, I think, where they have the whole thing of the drop that you sort of move around and stuff that he uses at the end, I think that's also I think that's Kung Fu Panda 2 specifically. So yeah. So that stuff is good, but Zenitsu again, using I guess something you might see more often, I guess, is or something, yeah, something you might more expect from a protagonist, power base being lightning, thunder. So that's really, really cool. I like that. But yeah, but the whole thing of he has to be asleep is really interesting. And then, yeah, we have the whole thing of the Marechi, a specific type of blood. It's the same type of blood as Star Platinum. Now, it's a specific type of blood. You know what it makes me wonder? Because they talk about it, it's like, oh yeah, there are different blood types. And it's like, yeah, there's 4 blood types, It's like A negative, B positive, B negative, and O negative. Don't quote me on that. It's somewhere around there. Somewhere around there. That's generally what it is. But I think it's 4. So it's like, it kind of makes me wonder too, like, okay, so which type is Marechi then, Because they didn't say, I thought they might say it, but it's like, oh, it's just something special. And it's something specifically, I think, that the brother has. Well, I would assume his siblings have that too then. I don't know. But yeah. But the thought process is, if you consume enough of that, then this demon will be able to rejoin the 12 Kizuki, which is interesting. But yeah, but even as a former member of the 12 Kizuki, I mean, I feel like that's very important, Get that blood sample from him, man. He was definitely close to Kibutsuji, so. And I will say, it's also just kind of funny, too, where, you get these sort of more, I guess, I don't want to say traditional, but, like, scarier-looking demons, horror movie-type demons. And I love contrasting them with Kibutsuji himself, because, again, he looks like a guy, and he dresses like a very modern person. I mean, again, he's anime Michael Jackson, but even when you look at Nezuko or Miss Tameo or Yushiro, it's like they all look very human. And then you get, demons like this guy, or the really big dude that Boarman Frank fought, So yeah. So it's just an interesting sort of contrast in these demons, And even the demons that are more humanoid, still, like, their faces are, more demonic in appearance than a lot of, than some of the demons we've seen, So it's just an interesting thing. And then, of course, we do have the Tamari demon and the Arrow demon, who were, for all intents and purposes, very human-like, So they had more human appearances, but they took on more demonic figures later, So yeah, it's just kind of interesting contrasting all the different, designs of these demons. But it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Which, how many times have I said that in this episode? God. I know that's my big thing. I always end... that's my transition. When I don't really know how to end it, I just say, oh, it's interesting. So... yeah, but it is interesting. So yeah, so that, as you can tell, that is our cue to wrap things up here. So really good episode, and I'm excited to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Demon Slayer reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.